Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about chain of responsibility design pattern, which is basically one of the behavioral design pattern. So for achieving the loose coupling in a software design pattern, we need to use this chain of responsibility design pattern. So in this pattern actually, we are supposed to get one request from client that is basically passed to a chain of object to process them. Then the object in the chain will decide themselves which actually will be the processings to the request. Okay, suppose and then like based on the request, which kind of whether this request required to be sent to the next object or not. Means suppose we are sending one request and there's a chain of actually processor kind of thing, then which processor is going to process this one. So this is actually internally they have decide, and then accordingly they have processed all those things. So as you can know, this design pattern, basically chain of responsibility design pattern, nowadays in JDK also used. Let's check one example of chain of responsibility pattern in JDK. Then like we will check means we will going to implement one real time example of this pattern. We know that like we are going to having the multiple try means multiple catch block. Means suppose we are going to handle some situations or some kind of error mechanism, then we need to write some kind of the try with multiple catch block. So here actually every catch block is a kind of the processor to process the particular exception. So when any exception is occur in the try block, it's sent to the first catch block to process. If this catch block is not able to process it, then it forwards the request to the next object of the chain, that is the next catch block. If even the last catch block also not able to process it, then the exception will be thrown from outside of the chain of the calling program. So as you can see, this is a one kind of the chain of responsibility pattern that is basically used in the internal JDK actually. Okay, and that try catch block we are use any very means nowadays in every program we need to handle the like any kind of the error, then we are going to use those things, right? So now if we check one real example like how it will be like working. So let's take one real example like the ATM dispense machine, right? So in the ATM, like we are going to whenever we're going to, then we need to punch our card, whatever the card it is, then based on it you will show some options, then it will show us like how much amount you need to withdraw, then we need to put those ones. Sometimes in a display sections we'll get that the amount should be multiplied by maybe 100 rupees or maybe 500 rupees, right? That means the user should enter the amount to be dispensed and the machine dispense in terms of the defined whatever the amount we are giving, such as like 500 200 100 etc. If the enters actually any amount which is basically not multiplied by 100, well, suppose for example we are giving the 50, so which is definitely like not multiplied by 100, right? Then it will throw some error, that means it is not possible or something. So in this kind of means for this kind of situation we are going to use this chain of responsibilities design pattern. And now suppose also like we are going to use some kind of uh, like sequence. Suppose whatever the amount is input by the user, or then maybe we need to first we'll check that 500 is available or not, then we'll check with the 200 rupees, then in the last we'll check with the 100 rupees. Suppose we are given 1500 rupees, then we need to give only the 3500 rupees. Now suppose we are giving the 1600 amount, then we need to give 3500 and then 100 rupees. So this kind of things we can do, but this kind of situation also we can do, means implement in the single program, but it will increase the complexities and also it will be tightly coupled. So that's why we're going to implement this same program with chain of responsibility program, right? So let's check the architecture of this program. So it will be look like something this one, like first actually we are going to entry point. So here actually we need to give some input over here, there will be we need to the main class actually will be here, and then there will be a chain processor. Actually basically it's a kind of we can say it's a one interface actually basically, which actually having we need to set the amount, and also we need to define one method like process, and this each actually class 100 rupees 200, this each class means need to implement this interface, and we need to implement the processor accordingly based on the amount actually. Okay, then we can like create the program. So let's create this implementation, like how it will be look like in a real scenarios basically, then so that we can easily understand that like how it is actually working. Okay, so let's create this program. I'm going to create one simple plain Java program which is already having, I am already like explained all the pattern related design pattern related program in this particular project. So for implementing the chain of responsibility pattern, I'm going to create another pattern, like another package for this one first. So let's create this package, something like chain of responsibility. So just to keep it short, like something like this. So what we have discussed in the architecture of this diagram, like first we need to create one interface for this one, which actually having two method actually. One is for we need to set the what kind of the next chain of it is, and the another one method actually which is basically responsible to process the data, whatever the request we will get from the entry point. So that actually we need to process over here. So the interface name should be kind of chain processor kind of things. And in this method actually you are going to keeping two method actually. Okay, one is like next chain, like what kind of the chain it is, and then like okay, and it will take actually one input like this interface basically, next chain. And the another method actually will be responsible to process the like informations. Okay, and it will take like amount. Okay, like the actually we are going to implement the processing the like we need to uh, what amount we are going to withdraw, that amount will give, and based on that it will give us like how much note actually it will take to give us that particular amount. Okay, so next we'll like you're going to implement another class which will basically implement this class. So we are going to process 100 rupees. Okay, and this particular class is going to implement this one, implements chain processor. Okay, so next we are going to implement these two method, as I'm going to implement this one. Okay, so here actually okay, spell type next chain, I'm also modifying over here. Okay, so here actually uh, we need to create one interface, sorry, instance variable, chain processor, like chain. Okay, and here actually basically we need to chain is equal to next chain. Okay, so this is done now, and then here actually we are going to write some logic. Okay, like if this amount basically greater than or equal to is 100, then number of occurrence of it is like amount divided by 100. Okay, and also we need to remainder, like what is the remainder of this one, remainder equal to amount divide percentage by 100. Okay, next we can print over here like how much note is required. So this number of, or you can directly say number plus 100 note required, or maybe in dispensing. Okay, and next we need to check if remainder not equals to 0. Okay, then actually we need to call this process again. Okay, process with remainder. I think it's clear. If it is greater than or not, then we are again call this chain dot process with this amount. Okay, so what it is doing actually, basically, if this is greater than this one, then we are taking this like how much number it will, we are going to dispensing over here, and we are also like taking the remainder of this one. Okay, so and then like suppose if we are means so like only 100, so it is equal this one, so it will 1, and here is a 0, so it will need only 100 node dispensing, and remainder also not equals to 0, it will not success, so we are not following anything over here. Okay, same implementation actually we are going to do for the other rupees also, like 200. Okay, okay, so for 200 only this amount is going to change, nothing will, everything will remain same. And here also we are running this one, this, so this is also done now. Next we are going to do for the same for 500. Okay, 500. Okay, and what is going to be changed over here, like 500, next 500, 500, here also 500. That's all. Next, so that means implementation wise is done over here. Next we are going to implement the like main entry point. Okay, so the main processor, you can say the new class, and it should have the main method, and here main processor. Okay, here actually you are going to like call this method actually, like when this particular actually constructor is going to initialize, then okay, it will be a public. So here actually we are going to create one instance for this interface. Okay, chain processor, so let's say it's a C1. Okay, and here actually C1 equals to new process 500. Okay, next we are going to create C2 for example, or maybe we can say 200 rupees equals to new process 200 rupees. Okay, okay, rupees 200. Next, okay, it's a 100, it will be a 100. So okay, now so that means two objects we have created. Now actually we need to set what will be the next chain of it is. So if it is a like C1, then we need to set next chain as a rupees 200. Okay, okay, and then so we have set with this 200, and then 200 actually having, for this 200 we need to set next chain as 100 rupees. Okay, so that means if it is 500, then we are setting the next is a 200, and for 200 the next chain will be a 100. Okay, so this is done now. Now in the main method actually we are going to call this one. Okay, so we are going to create one new class over here, process equal to main processor. Okay, 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 next Actually we need to take one input, right? So let's take so here also we can like or maybe what we can do, we can like we can take either take input from the user, or maybe we can directly like we can provide the input. So let's provide the like directly. So process dot cu1 dot process. Okay, and here actually we need to pass the amount. So let's say we are passing the 200. So what it will happen, so let's run this one. We can see 200 node dispensing. Okay, now suppose if we are providing the 400, so what we are expecting, it will give us the 200 nodes. Okay, 200 nodes. Now suppose we are giving the 500. Okay, okay, so 500 node is dispensing. And now suppose we are giving 1800. Okay, now what response it will give us? Okay, 500 nodes means 1500, then adding 1700, then 100 node. Okay, and then like suppose 2000 we are given, then it will give us a 4500. So I hope this is the like small applications, like how it is you can see like these are the very small applications. So suppose we are giving this 500 initially, then it will first check for this one, then it will go for this one 200, then in the last it will go for this one. So in this, like this is the 1 2 3, in this sequence it will actually execute. So this is actually about all these things about chain of responsibility pattern. I hope everything is clear. If you guys have any doubt, then please do let me know in the comment sections. That's all for this chain of responsibility design pattern. If and obviously like once you will go through the code and all those things, if you guys have anything, then please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.